Good afternoon, everyone, and good morning to those on the European continent. Things seem to be looking up as we celebrate midsummer, sailing into the second half of the month of June. Welcome back to the third sequence of the ATF Float-in Series 2020. This 45-minute session will give us an update on the rather distinctive market that Vietnam has evolved into. We are privileged to have with us veteran buyers from significant platforms in Vietnam. With us today, we have Thi Bich Hanh Ngo, Vice President of BHD, Thi Hang, General Director of Skyline Media, Thi Mai Linh, Manager of Planning and Market Research Department, TV Advertising and Services Center of Vietnam Television, and Tran Thi Lan Chi, Licensing Manager of Propensi Media. We're also really excited to welcome back Michelle Lin, APAC Manager of K7 Media, who joins us again for the second time as session moderator. She will begin the session with a quick overview of the market, sharing some exclusive statistics. Let's welcome Michelle as we begin this session.
Hello, everyone. I hope you're all healthy. Welcome to this ATF plugin session. This gathering will help you peek into the mindset of content buyers and commissioners and reveal the current state of content alignment. My name is Michelle Lin, and I'm the APAC Manager of K7 Media. We are a TV research consultancy company based in Manchester, UK. We track the development of programming around the world and produce regular Asia report and multimedia reports on various genres and territories. And that's why I'm here today to share our latest analysis with you on Vietnam and dig as much insights as possible from our panelists. So in the first slide, you can see that in Asia, no one would doubt that Vietnam is one of the leader in terms of the volume of format acquisition in 2019 and pretty much all the recent years. There were an estimate of 70 acquisitions, including adaptations aired in 2019 and commissioned for 2020. Game shows dominate the list. 53% of total acquisitions are game shows, that is 37 seasons of them, and it is followed by 14 seasons of music-related unscripted formats, equivalent to 20%, followed by 12 seasons of reality formats, which is 17%, and then is the 6 scripted formats, which is 9%, and last one is 1 season of factual formats. So statistics have shown that the national podcaster VTV is the biggest buyer, closely followed by HTV, Ho Chi Minh City Television. Now I'm going to share our findings in each genre in the next slide. Starting with promising game shows, if you have a handful of good game shows, Vietnam will be one of your best shots, really. Here are some of the successful game shows and their features. Successful game shows are easy to understand, allowing viewers to jump straight in without having to decipher an endless list of rules. Those integrating elements from other genres are also welcomed in this market. Quiz game shows especially is the evergreen subgenre. They tend to return and run for many years in Vietnam. They might not be the rating hits, but the size of their loyal audience cannot be underestimated. Local broadcasters continue to be on the lookout for new quiz formats. The action-packed lightning quiz is from Thailand Workpoint Entertainment, and it is one of the successful adaptations in Vietnam. First introduced in the territory in 2018, there have been in total 2 adult seasons and 2 kids spin-off seasons aired, and the 3rd kids spin-off season is currently on air. One reason for this huge success is the comedic elements in the DNA of this format. So in the next slide, And there is also a rising trend for smaller scale, funny, challenge-based game show in the country. Many newly acquired formats are based on guessing games, where participants have to use their intuition to work out a wide range of topics. Noticeable returning examples are Endemol Group's Art One In, TV Asahi's Turn Back, Noisy Neighbor, and KBS Korea's Trick and True, and NBC Universal's Who is the Real Celebrity. The last notes on game show in the next slide. In K7 Media's Tracking the Giant format analysis report, the top buzzwords of 2019 is society, dating, and generations. This can probably explain why this local adaptation of the Belgium Degenerate show becomes the top rating game shows on VTV in Vietnam. Locally titled as Happy Memories, the show sees 5 teams, each representing a different generation, battle over increased games to prove that they know their generation the best. The latest season just finished airing in January this year. Historically, when a format becomes a hit, many similar ones are quickly adapted. Yet this one, currently, there's no other shows in Vietnam combining quiz, games, generations, and nostalgia like Happy Memories. So this is an area to watch. Now we move on to music unscripted formats. Music has been the prime time staple in many countries, no exclusion to Vietnam. South Korea's I Can See Your Voice has been doing very well on HTV7, and the 5th season is returning very soon on the 28th of June 2020. The all-time classic The Voice franchise is still running strong after running 8 years on VTV3, with the latest season, season 6, marked as the highest interaction on social media platform amongst other TV shows. Now we are going to look at the reality datings. Lastly, I want to highlight our predictions on the rise of reality dating programs in Vietnam. Vietnam has one of the largest percentages of young people in the world, and its government has just approved a birth rate adjustment program, encouraging people to get married before 30 years old, and local authorities are piloting marriage and family consultation services such as dating clubs. The dating show Who is Single is a great example. It's based on a Thai format, and in the show, participants try to match a girl with another singleton amongst a mixture of LGBTQ people, single people, and taken male people. The fact that it is the most discussed show on social media during its airing period proves that people in Vietnam are very interested in this topic. So next slide, we are going to look at scripted formats acquired in Vietnam. On K7 Media's Tracking the Giant scripted report, buzzwords of all time are family, mystery, romance, if you look at the top left corner, which is in line with Vietnam's 2019 scripted format acquisitions. Romantic comedy and family dramas are the easy entry into this territory. However, if following the same global pattern as observed in our report, there will be more adaptations in medical thriller and legal dramas. For example, in 2017, one of the best rated drama on VTV is the adaptation of Israeli thriller series, The Arbitrator. Lastly, the next slide, if looking at the finished tape sales, movies and drama series are the priority of acquisition, taking up around 60 to 70 of the total acquisitions. Korean and Chinese dramas and Hollywood films are the best rated foreign programs. Budgets in general are comparatively low as expected. There's no fixed figures as it depends on the size of broadcaster and types of programs. But ballpark figures spanning from the low end of 200 to 400 US dollars per episode up to 2,000 to 3,000 US dollars per episode. And package deal is often preferred to bring down the price. Okay, I hope this presentation gives you a good picture of the current Vietnamese market. And now, without further delay, I would like to invite our panelists for a compelling discussion and hope to go through as many questions as possible. Shall we dive straight into the discussion? My first question to Mai Linh. Oh, yes. Hi. Hi. Oh, actually, should we stick with the original one? Hello, Bich Hanh. My first question to you is, BHD managed Danet streaming platform and owns the cinema business BHD Star Cineplex. So what is the ratio between local and foreign acquisitions for all your outlets? And do you see yourself or your company trying new programs in the foreseeable future as well?
BHD, we run Danet as an OTT platform. We own cinema, but we also do a lot of TV production as well. So each of the area have a different percentage of local and international content. Like for the OTT, majority will be for acquire foreign content, because OTT, the market is still very new, except, small production for YouTube, Facebook. It's majority of the big productions are for TV, not for the OTT. So I bet that about 90% of our content on OTT are acquisition content.
As from foreign countries.
From foreign countries.
Yes.
As for cinema, box office shows that in the last 5 years, Vietnamese content movie were only ranging from 20 to 25% of the market share. So the rest are majority from Hollywood studios and some from Chinese, Korean, or Thai movie, which is very small percentage. So if you look at that, OTT and cinema still majority dominant by foreign import content. For TV, for the big TV station, especially free-to-air, a lot of the content are local. Very small, maybe 80 to 90%. 80% are local productions. Only about 20% are acquired content for big TV channels. But when you come to the smaller TV station, you see more, the percentage of imported program will increase. So with the constraint of budget right now, I think that there are more opportunities for foreign imported content at this moment, because the revenue, advertising revenue is going to go down. So yeah, I think that there are still quite a big, a big portion for foreign import content. But Vietnamese are very selective. As you show in your research, Hollywood movie, Korean and Chinese drama series will take majority of the percentage of the imported content.
Thank you very much. We will come back to you for the following questions. And so my first question to you, Mai Linh, from finding you are from VTV. So in terms of the international acquisitions, what genre are your priority? And can you give an example of a recent acquisition that has worked well on your channel? And then, because we know VTV3 is like a variety channel, and what's the best rated foreign adaptation on VTV3, for example?
Because Vietnam Television is a broadcaster, a national broadcaster of Vietnam, so we have many channels, and usually we acquire a lot of programs on many genres. But for now, I think our focus is on foreign TV series, some scripted formats, so we can produce and localization at our own production house. and some formats for game shows, but not all formats. We are looking for something new. As Ms. Bich Hanh say, we are very selective. So like we have so many of these talent shows, singing and dancing. So we're looking for something new. Yes. And aside from the content quality, there's a big factor to consider right now is the budget. Right now, the budget is quite limited. So yes, that's a big factor to consider for our acquisition. For the example that you said on BTV3, and some of the title you have mentioned is the Welcome to Waikiki. So when we rename it, it was named Hostel Balanya. It was aired on BTV3 at the start of 2020. The rating is very, very good. Yes. The other title for TV series is Fighting Time. Vietnamese title is Love and Ambitions. It's quite good too. And for game shows, some of the familiar name is Thank God You Are Here, It Takes Two. Yeah, that's some of the foreign formats that have been adapted into Vietnamese version. Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. So now we're moving on to Lan Chi from Propensi Media. Propensi Media signed a strategic partnership with SBS and KBS from South Korea about 2 years ago. And how has the partnership been? Is this the best way to enter the Vietnamese market in order to sell successfully?
Until now, our partnership with them is still going well. Cooperation with KBS and SBS, as well as our other partners, is still high evaluated by us, and we consider it an important step to develop our business. Regarding your question about the best way to entering Vietnam market, I think it's difficult to say how is the best way, but to give the my suggestions, I think it's an easier way. If they partnership with a local companies, the local company can give them their experience, their understanding of the market, the practices and rules. Talking about content distribution, for particularly if they partner with a local company, they can easily to introduce their content to Vietnam, and if it works well, it can make way for them to upcoming deal later. Yeah, I think so.
So do you prefer to dealing directly with those kind of international partners, for example, broadcasters, or do you also consider working with trusted agents?
Yeah, I think both have its own advantage and disadvantage. We can say which one we prefer when it comes to particular case. For example, if we need an own right title that we want to launch in our channel and then we distribute later, then we will within that international deals with international partner is more benefit for us. But yes. If we want a quick title to fill our time slot only on our channel, so deal with local trusted agent is more saving time and also a cheaper price.
Like a shortcut.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So now we're going to move into the discussion with Skyline Media from Minh Han. Minh Han, can you share with us your acquisition strategies and focus for the rest of 2020 and next year, 2021, please?
Oh, do you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, for the acquisition strategy for this year and for next year, actually, because of the situation, right? Because the virus, everything's changed, but still we try to keep our core values. So Skyline Media is mainly about acquiring movies. So we buy movies from around the world and some dramas and because of we buying movies, so mainly we have to buy from very at the very early stages, which mean the film may be in post-production, in shooting, so that we, can keep the slot. And besides that, like my other partner also said about the low budget in Vietnam. So one of the strategies is also about combining the demand of all of the platform, so that we can join in and to collaborate with the platform, to share all of the costs and to have a better acquiring strategy for Vietnam.
Okay, thank you very much. Now we're coming back to Bich Hanh. In terms of the unscripted format, can you tell us about the successful titles and partnership with examples?
For unscripted format, we used to do a lot of unscripted format, especially reality shows. Like one of the unscripted format that actually the longest running on TV in Vietnam that you mentioned, The Price is Right, was our format. We bought it many years ago and it's still going on. But for we used to produce a lot of big shows, big budget. But because in the last couple of years, the advertising revenue for free-to-air in Vietnam has been decreasing every year. And we start cutting a lot of the big show, not because of there is not enough viewer in the market. Majority, the reason is the budget is too high. We cannot afford those big shows anymore. There was a time where sponsors are willing to pay for the gap between the TV station and pay and the actual budget, but right now sponsors are not paying for those. They are moving on to other, new media, and they don't pay that huge amount for TV anymore. So I think that the biggest reality show that we produced last year was Amazing Race, but this year, travel show is impossible to produce. So I think that for unscripted format, if you look at the number of shows, it's still quite a lot in Vietnam, but I believe it has been decreased dramatically. And in terms of the number of episodes, for game show, we used to acquire 52 episodes. Now it will only become 26 or 13. So it's shorter.
Right.
In terms of the number of the title, it's still okay, but in the volume and also in terms of the budget, and in terms of the actual size, in terms of the money, I believe that Vietnam market has been decreasing in terms of the budgeting and in terms of the volume.
Okay, we will move on to more questions to discuss, this not very hopeful statistics, but I'm sure everyone will find a way to deal with it. And now we're moving to Mai Linh. And what type of programs are you looking to buy and co-produce? And what do you feel is lacking in Vietnam today?
Still the same as what I said before. We are going to buy foreign TV series. Well, it's quite good on budget. It's better than producing your own TV series. And on the topic of the TV series, so I think Vietnamese mostly love Chinese or Korean series, and we want series on family dramas or romance. And I think it's a new trend is legal or crime series. So that's what we are looking for. As for scripted, I think it's the same. It's the same topic in scripted formats. And for game show, as I said before, we want something new. We want something different. I think what is lacking in Vietnam market today is actually some new game show, because in Vietnam we have a lot of game shows because the audience get bored really easy. So we want something new, but especially something for kids or family members. I think that's what new, and we are looking into that. Not singing or dancing or talent show that we have a lot in the past. And I think it will still doing quite well, but it's not something we are looking for.
Right, that's very good to know all the sellers. And now we are going to move to Lan Chi. What are the foreign finished tapes that work well on the channels? And then you have acquired Chinese and Thai dramas and US movies before. Have you also considered, for example, Turkish drama or Russian films? And do you find any difficulties of buying and showing these shows in this territory?
The content on our channel, right? I think
Yes.
based on the content performance on our channel, and I think as Ms. Linh say, in general in the market, the Vietnam TV market, Korean and Chinese drama is working well for now. And for the US and European content that you are mentioned about, actually until now we haven't acquired any US movie yet.
Right.
Although I know that there are many good content out there, but because our identity of our channel identity is 100% dubbed content. So whereas the dubbing for the US and the European titles are quite a challenge for us, and the audience is not familiar with that kind of dubbing yet. Yeah, that's our concern. But in the situation, because there are the competition of acquiring content is become fiercer when many big digital platforms like Netflix, WeTV, iQIYI, they are willing to pay a big amount to have exclusive titles. So maybe we are now have started to considering to have US and European title in upcoming. Yeah.
Right. Okay, that's good to know. Moving on. So Minh Han, my next question to you is similar to the one to Lan Chi actually. Have you also noticed any pain point or difficulties when acquiring or working with international partners?
Working with international partners, actually to us, that is the majority of the job that we're working right now, because we mainly buying things from the production house. So actually working with them, the good thing is about transparency, that all of the information that we receive are very clear and up to date and detailed. That is a good point. But besides that, there are a couple of things that are into our concern. One is that when we buy things from international partners, we have to pay tax, high withholding tax. Yeah, that is something that maybe our seller, they don't really put it into consideration. And like other panelists also talk about the price that Vietnam can afford is quite low compared with other countries. But for the international partners, sometimes they don't really understand the local markets, and they keep comparing Vietnam with neighborhood countries like Thailand, for example. Yeah, Thailand can pay this much, so they expect that Vietnam can pay the same amount. So sometimes it's not right, and it takes a lot of time to persuade them with a good price and suitable with our market. So I think, so the price, they don't know much about the local insights, and actually we don't have a lot of chances to really show our insights. And especially when Vietnam, we don't have a very official platforms to show out the database, like all of the market survey, we don't have that much thing. So that's why, all of the partners, they don't really know much about that. So that is also a gap between Vietnam and other countries. Yeah. So there are a couple of concerns.
Right. I'm sure gradually people will be knowing more and more with ATF having more sessions of Vietnam, and people understand more details about this market. So before we continue, I'd like to mention that there will be a quick survey happening from now and onwards. So please do take part in it while we continue to engage this very interesting discussion. So moving back to Bich Han. Hi, Bich Han. This question is at a macro scope, but I'm sure you can share your first-hand observation with us on this one. So looking at the acquisition pricings, has it changed significantly with the entrance of international players such as Netflix, Facebook, and YouTube? And how are local players coping with it or benefiting from it?
I mean, for Facebook and YouTube, majority, they don't acquire content for Vietnam market at all. They are just partner with local partners or, international partner that put the content on their platform on the revenue share models. Only Netflix are joining, but Netflix is buying pan-regional. Majority of the shows that they buy are for pan-regional. I guess that with this situation in Vietnam in the last couple of years and even right now, the future is unpredictable. So one of the main concern that not only me, but I believe a couple of our buyer has already mentioned that budget is one of the majority concern that we are pay attention right now. If the content is very good, but if the price is not right, we will skip it because the market will not allow us to pay higher. And I believe that Vietnam market still there are still a lot of potential contents that we can choose. We have to, and even if you look at the Korean seller, the price of Korean drama series has been decreased during the last couple of years because the market cannot afford anymore. So I bet that with this difficult situation, if seller want to make it happen in Vietnam, we all have to support each other. We all have to work to find a way that the local company can actually making a little bit of money. We cannot lose money in this difficult situation. We sometimes we used to lose money to buy a good content just for the reputation. But right now, nobody is doing that anymore. We look at the good content at the suitable price for the local market. That's what all the buyers are in Vietnam, I believe, are looking for.
That's very interesting because, for sure Netflix has pushed up the price on the most premium dramas from Asia, but there are still many choices. And if your door is open to many countries, then, it's about the story itself. And when the price is right, of course, you will be waiting to try it. Thank you very much for your sharing. And now we're moving to Mai Linh. Do you have any advice on pitching, especially during this time? Travel is restricted and there are canceled events.
I think I cannot speak for others, but for our station, I think pitching, I think we are quite opening and welcome on kind of series. I don't think events or, forums are very necessary. If you have good content to pitch, you just need to send us trailers or introductions, some sample episodes, and then we can talk from there. But there's two things to consider. First, I think we prefer shortlist of programs or formats. Usually we don't want to look through a very thick catalogs to see to find what we're looking for. And the second, like other panelists has said, is the price issue. Even Vietnam Television is a government-owned station. We have the government support, but still our budget, we have to look into it and in every quarter and see what's the revenue doing and consider the budget also. So so good content, shortlist, and then good price.
Yes, as you just mentioned that you're looking for more legal and crime drama series, so maybe your shortlist can just top 5 titles from my catalog. Here you go. Things like that. And then so you'll be open to arrange a Zoom call with all the potential partners.
Yes, Zoom or email is okay, or just send files over email. It's okay with us.
You will consider.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. And Lan Chi, my question to you now is the adaptation of Running Man was a great success. What's the lessons learned from localizing SBS Running Man, and any takeaways to share with all of us?
Thank you for your compliment on the success of Running Man. Yeah, Running Man is a famous format in Korea, and I can say that it's really popular all over the world. So we feel lucky and we feel proud. We be proud to partner with SBS to bring this format to Vietnam. And I think the key factor to bring the success to these adapted shows is that we have the great support from the expert from of SBS expert of the filming and editing and also directing. So yeah, but because of them, we learned a lot from them. So we think that in the future, yeah, someday we can reach that level and we can create our whole format and sell to the world. Yes.
So you meant those Korean experts, they travel to Vietnam and really help localize the show.
We have our own filming crew, but they are the one who give advice, and they also take part in most of the process of the production.
That's very good to know. Thank you. And Minh Han, what sort of foreign content will you consider, seeing how there are attendees from 35 countries across the globe interested in Vietnam? For example, would you consider Spanish Finnish products, for example? I think that's from one of our attendees' question.
Okay. So in general, Skyline is actually, we are a tricky point. We are very tricky for us because we are a distributor. We don't have a platform like all the buyers attending the panels. So which means that the content that we buy, we cannot really decide by ourselves. We cannot do that alone, right? We need to have the insights and we need to know the demands from the platforms to gather everything, and then, we make a decision. So that's why our strategy, we have to rely on the strategies of the platforms in Vietnam. So that is the tricky points. And at the same time, we have to balance with the demand of production from other countries. What we want, whether they have it or not, right? So in general, regarding movies, that is the strategy that we are focusing on. We don't buy dramas a lot because actually we have a lot of buyers for drama, and especially for the platforms, they buy dramas by themselves. So for movies, when we buy it, we are looking for commercial film. Commercial, which means high concept, the story itself, good star, and a good performance like IMDb point or something like that. So in general, then we have to pack all of the selling point for our movies so that we can introduce to the platforms. So that is one thing. Second thing, for the countries, we are open with all of the countries right now. We know that Korean or Chinese content are very popular in Vietnam, but actually as a distributor, we don't want that our content is limited to that only. We still trying our best to have other sources of content from other countries or the continent. We open up with European content. We open up more with Hollywood indie film. As long as the content are good, the story itself is good, and commercial enough. Or for example, you talk about Spanish. We love Spanish film, especially thriller, crime, detective. That is something that we think that European content are the best at that, and we are also open to that. And actually, we also have some key partners in Europe to provide us those kind of content. But at the same time, we have to persuade the platforms that, hey, besides Korean, Chinese, European content are good, man. For example, like that, we have to persuade them that, we should open up to other kind of content so that the audience have more choices. Besides local content, besides Hollywood. So that's also our.
That's very good. It's very nice to have you in the middle, communicating between two sides and trying to get the benefit for the audience, really, because what do you miss if you don't watch this Spanish thriller films? So now moving to Bich Han, you have shared quite a lot of your insights, and now if you are going to give a last advice to those looking to sell finished programs or co-produce with Vietnam, what will be your last advice to them?
I mean, for the candid products, it is very important for us to buy it before the show air in the original country, because Vietnam there's a lot of piracy in the market. So if if you wait until your series finished and you try to sell, it will be the lower chance you can sell your products to a market like Vietnam, where piracy is very high. So sell the format as earlier as possible. Ideally, drama series should be before the complete the product, because in Vietnam we'll do simulcast, meaning we'll broadcast the same day as Korea or China. So that's important point. For movie, when we buy movie, it's the same. We buy from pre-production. So even we haven't watched the whole film, we still could be able to buy. If we look at the cast, you know, the story, the script. So that's one of the very important point. And I still have to mention, second point is the budget right now, especially if you want to sell from now until end of the year. We from our acquisition team, we have a demand from all our internal programming, operation, everybody, cut budget. You have to cut here, you have to cut there. So I think if the buyer can work with us, support each other with the budget that we can afford, that's the second thing. So 2 points from my advice to be able to get it easier to enter the market.
Yes, I think your first point is very interesting, and you know, sellers from Europe, they probably never thought of that. But you know, if you build up the partnership, you trust each other, and then you know, Vietnam is this kind of market, and then you get into the sales as early as possible, then and there will be more and more trust and deals being done in this way. And Lan Chi, do you have plans in adapting scripted formats? If yes, what kind of scripts are you looking for?
I brought 2 big unscripted formats to Vietnam. The first one is Running Man from MSPS, and the second one is Super 10 from WordPoint. So script format is definitely our next step. In the market now, I can see that there's many successful scripted formats, adapted scripted format already.
Yes.
For example, High Kick from SPS, or One Family, or Descendant of Dan from BHD. So I think that sitcom and drama is something we will consider, for the next step.
Sitcom and drama.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And next question to Minh Han, how important is localization of content to you? Which is preferred? Is it subtitling or dubbing? And if a distributor comes to you with a great foreign film, for example, but not available in Vietnamese language ready for you, how much is this factor affect your decision of picking up this film title? And then if that's the case, what would be the next step to move forward from there?
So the localization for sure is very important to us. If we talk about the order, the priority ordering, so the first going to be subtitle, and then it's going to be voiceover, and the last going to be dubbing, because dubbing is expensive. But for example, for Lan Chi's case, her platform just need dubbing. Then we have to consider the cost for doing the dubbing for them. But normally, in general, all of the platforms they request for subtitling version first. Yeah. So that's why for Skyline, we have to invest in a lab to do all of the localization for our customer, and to make sure that we go through all of the QC process to make sure about the content and the technical performance of the localization to be the best. Your question about the, for example, a drama series but not available in Vietnamese language, I believe that outside of Vietnam, there not gonna be any other countries to produce Vietnamese content with the Vietnamese dialogues, right? So that's why to us it's very normal to consider foreign drama series without Vietnamese dialogue, without Vietnamese language.
Yeah.
but because that is
100% the case. Yes.
So normally what we request is the English script, so that we can do the localization in Vietnam. But when we buy Chinese content, they even don't have English subtitle. They say that they have Chinese dialogue list. Is it okay? Then all of the cost for translating Chinese into Vietnamese is higher and much more difficult. But luckily, mainly all of the seller, I think they already know about that, and normally they already prepare the English dialogue list for Vietnam already, and based on that, and as long as there are movies with the M&E tracks, that we have enough, factors to do the localization in Vietnam for dubbing and for voiceover and other things. So right now, in general, the main concern is from the Chinese content. Sometimes they don't have the script for us to do the localization. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much for your sharing. We are running 3 minutes late, but I hope we can go through one round of questions that's raised by the attendees today. So my first quick question to you, Bich Hanh, this is from Hong Kong. How are Hong Kong films doing in Vietnamese market? Do you know? Can you share with us?
We bought a lot of content from Korea and China for drama series. I haven't bought anything from Hong Kong yet, so maybe it's time. Send us the Hong Kong title if you have good cast, good story, and importantly, we have to do simulcast, meaning we cannot get the pirate market go before us. Then maybe we can consider.
Okay, thank you very much. My next question to Mai Linh, this is from America. Do you invest in development of projects such as financing a co-production projects?
Yes, we did in the past, not right now, but we did in the past, and we have several success projects with CJ from Korea or Fox from the US. So we do that, yes.
Are you considering it right now or maybe next year?
I'm not sure, because like every panelist said, we cannot predict anything with this situation. So we don't have any ongoing project right now, but maybe in the future we will consider that, because we already did that in the past.
Okay, thank you very much. And Lan Chi, this one is from Poland. What kind of foreign content is most wanted by broadcasters or OTT viewers in Vietnam?
Data, I can see that Chinese drama and Korean drama is in top favorite. For OTT, I think it's the range of content is more diverse. One of the reason I think is because the viewer can flexible to pick their title and at any time. Some I can name some here, like the dramas. Dramas, movies, animation, games, and sport. Yeah, that's the most fun thing in OTT, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, and depends on the platform actually.
Yes. Okay. And last question to Minh Han. I know you acquire most films, but this question is from China. Are you looking for animation programs? If yes, what kind of programs would you be your first consideration? If this one doesn't suit you, maybe we can talk to other panelists on the question. Yes, thank you.
Okay. For animation, if it is animation feature from China, we wish to know more about it. Because and we open up to know about the film when it is in production or post-production, to consider whether it is suitable for cinema release and all of the release after that or not. If it is animation series, from what I know, maybe the price from Chinese animation is a little bit lower than from other countries. But right now, that is not our focus yet, to buy animation series, because there are many buyers from Vietnam to do that already. And also, in order to buy animation series from China, we need to buy a lot of hours which is not the focus from us right now. We already have series from Korea, animation series, I mean, from Korea, from the US and from Europe already. But yeah, it is not our top priority. So if it is feature film, then I think we're gonna, look more into it.
Okay, thank you very much. So on behalf of KSL Media, I would like to thank you all my panelists for sharing so much first-hand insights with all of us. And thank you everyone for tuning in. Lastly, a big thank you to Lenita from ATF for making this happen. And don't forget to log on again in the near future as ATF takes on more sessions delving into high growth markets across Asia. Take care, everyone. See you soon. Bye.
Bye.
Ôi, đau tai quá.